For today's podcast, we have the pleasure of once again talking to Dr. Andy Owen. Andy, you are the District Athletic Director as well as Director of Talent Development, Assistant Superintendent, and it's good to have you in today.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
You know, this is something we've always enjoyed doing because I know we have so many fans out there that are interested in this. So let's talk about fall sports today. So certainly something that's in your wheelhouse. And let's just kind of go through some of the sports we have and what's on the top of your mind as the district athletic director. So before we start, let's remind everybody what our fall sports are. I know everybody, of course, knows about football and thinks football, but we have lots of athletics going on during the fall athletic season. So we've got boys and girls cross country. Tell me if I'm missing something here. We have boys and girls soccer going on, boys tennis. We talked about football. We have girls golf is in the fall, and then of course volleyball.
Yeah, okay. That's it's quite a large group. We'll have hundreds of athletes participating at all different levels: freshman teams, JV teams, varsity teams, and they'll be benefiting from being a part of athletics. I think that's a big part of education and an extension of the classroom, and if you're doing it the right way. So excited to see all of these student athletes this fall for the EVSC.
And you and I just talked recently about the fact that it not anything against any of the other seasons. All the athletic seasons are great, but there is something special about the fall sports season. So much excitement with the beginning of school, and you've had teams practicing and getting ready here at the end of the summer. So, I mean, lots of energy for schools in this time of year.
Yeah, our fall sports, it's kind of sets the tone for your school year. It's the opening. There's a lot of excitement. I think most of these sports besides volleyball are all outdoors, so the weather, it's just a great time of year. And I think we build our fall sports off the excitement of coming back to school and hope for another great school year.
Absolutely. Okay, well, let's start by talking about football then. Certainly something you have a lot of expertise. You were a head football coach for a long time. So give us just a brief overview of what we can expect here in the community with our football teams in EVSC.
Really excited about EVSC football this year. Our 5 high schools, it doesn't just start August 1st. You know, it's a year-round thing now. Sure. It didn't just start in June and July, the off-season and those type of things.
Am I right in saying if you're an athlete and you're not involved in another sport, you're conditioning really throughout the year?
Yeah, now that the IHSA allows you 2 days a week to actually get with your athletes and pretty much practice, do what you need to do to prepare them to improve and get better, get your team together and build that culture and climate that hopefully can lead you toward a successful season. So during the school year last year and then again this summer, our 5 football teams have put in a lot of work. Similar to most teams around here, it's just kind of what's expected of you now, but I'm really proud of our teams. As I look at the year this year, start with Central, there's a lot of excitement there. Coach Brandon Artis is in his second year leading that program. Didn't have as much success in terms of wins and losses, but the foundation there for the team, the numbers are healthy, and they've had a great summer.
You have to have numbers in football for sure.
They do, and I think there's some excitement there as they're going to get his first win as a head coach, and I'm really excited about that. When you talk about Bossy High School and Bossy football, they're coming off of a last year's success, building upon that. Kids are excited. Kids are out for football.
Brand new turf field in Inland Stadium. Beautiful.
Facilities matter, and Bossy's new turf field is beautiful. But Coach Mullen last year, their head coach, was Coach of the Year in the SIAC, and they also touted the quarterback that was Player of the Year in the SIAC, and then later at the end of the year was actually named the SIAC Athlete of the Year. So there's a lot of excitement at Bossy as they're coming off
a lot of success there.
And then Harrison High School, I believe, has maybe had some of the best summer number-wise, weight room-wise, what they're doing to keep the staff together and cohesive and those type of things. So I really feel like they're working in the right direction. There's some consistency at the leadership with the head coach, and it's a tough conference, but I'm looking forward to watching the Warriors this year. And then when we talk about North High School, they're coming off a sectional championship from last year. So exciting, and it's always great to see an EVSC win in the postseason, and North being able to beat Castle last year twice, and then looking forward to this year, seeing them build upon last year's success. And then the Wrights Panthers, they've won the conference 2 years in a row by more than 3 games. They've just kind of dominated, and everybody's kind of pointing and looking towards them. And Wrights is used to that. They kind of reload, and those kids, I'm looking forward to following those student athletes. Hopefully they have a great fall as well.
Should be a great football season. I know you've referenced the conference a few times. Of course, our teams in EVSC play in the Southern Indiana Athletic Conference, known as the SIAC. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's our schools plus what? Castle, Memorial, Mater Dei,
Jasper and Vincennes
and
were the new
Vincennes.
additions. So there was always an 8 SIAC, and a few years ago we added 9 and 10. That's been good for us. We locked into our conference schedule in football. It's more consistent, knowing where our families are going to travel on a yearly basis. We've locked into nine conference games.
Yeah, really fortunate. We have just a lot of athletic tradition throughout the entire SIAC, so looking forward to a great football season this year.
Yeah, across the board, football especially, but in all of our sports, and especially our fall sports, we're competing in fantastic facilities, and which I said earlier, facilities do matter. They matter to our community, our parents, our students, and one of the top-notch athletic, as far as ability-wise, conference. We're one of the top conferences in the overall state of Indiana.
Okay, and then let's jump sports here. Let's talk about cross country. It's a great sport for athletes, for really all students to be a part of that are interested in that. And then I know we've got a neat event coming up this year in conjunction with football. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so cross country, we both boys and girls run this fall, and our teams will be competing. We've gotten into a lot of our races being on the weekends, and now that our athletes and our coaches like to train throughout the week. So our schedules have kind of shifted in cross country to more of weekend competitions, so train throughout the week. Really neat event this year. One thing that I've always wanted to work with our team to accomplish is a cross country meet prior to a football game. We talked about football and not just the sport, but what it is to the community with thousands of fans. Wrights in North this year. We'll be at North this year, and we've looked. It's going to start a cross country meet about 6:30 prior to kickoff, and we're going to let our students start on the field, run around the track, leave the stadium. We're going to have a course that's safe, and they're going to re-enter back into the stadium and finish in front of all of the pep band, the cheerleaders, and all the thousands of fans that are there that night. So it's going to bring some notoriety to our cross-country team and those well-deserved student athletes, but it's also going to be neat for the football game to start with the cross-country event. So,
well, and a great example of bringing two sports together. And I'm not telling you anything you don't know. When we talk about some sports like cross country, those athletes, the time they put in is the same as the team sports athletes. They may just not have quite the spectator following, but incredible athletes.
Yeah, the neat thing about cross country is it is a team and a team score, and that's how you advance and that's how you score it, but you're always working for your personal best. So win or lose, wherever you are, it's neat when the sport's a time, there's always room for improvement, and our runners always talk about their personal best.
Okay, and then speaking of kind of that line of thinking goes into two other sports going on in the fall, boys tennis and girls golf. How are we looking in those areas?
Our numbers are healthy, excited to say, in some programs because of access and opportunities. It's an area that we need to improve in our within my team, just getting kids opportunities and access at a younger level to golf. Yeah,
because we know you have to start playing younger. You don't just waltz into high school and suddenly become a stellar athlete in golf or tennis.
No, and in some situations we have athletes and we welcome them to start as a freshman, and we can give them a good experience and being part of a team. But to compete at the level in varsity athletics, it's about our team getting out and offering access to these sports and opportunities and learning at an earlier level. We've been trying to do that. We think that we've become healthy with our numbers in golf. There's a lot of people working towards this, the city golf program and those type of things. So there's some collaboration and some partnership. So I'm excited to see, kind of like I talked about the talks, and some personal bests. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. But we have some kids all different levels playing golf, and golf is a lifetime sport. We're excited to watch these golfers compete, and hopefully, again, extension of the classroom, education-based athletics. We want to see our kids do well.
Sure. Of course, soccer is always big in our community, has been for many, many years, and we have both boys and girls soccer teams competing in the fall season.
Yeah, and I would say soccer is an area in which I believe maybe this summer we've spent the most time with our kids on the fields. June and July, there's other teams you can play for and things, but I really think a lot of our commitment from our student athletes has been with their coaches and their high school program lately. And I think that'll pay great dividends for us in the fall. The commitment in June and July from all of our soccer programs compared to where we've been in the past, I'm hoping that work in June and July and the commitment from the families, their students, and our coaches will give them a successful fall.
Okay, and then last but certainly not least, and that is our volleyball teams. As you said, the one sport that's inside in the fall.
The neat thing about the volleyball is they're the only one inside, so every one of their events is streamed. In our IHSA.
Yeah, remind us about that. So anything in a gym.
Anything in a gym. So wrestling, basketball, boys and girls basketball, and volleyball. If we had bad weather and graduations, we have the capability with technology to be able to stream those things. So volleyball, I don't necessarily get to all the matches, but I can always watch them on my phone, and our families and friends can as well. Looking into our stream, each school has that. They announce that through their school website. And
Right.
those
And that's
type of
on the
things.
district website as well,
excited for-
evscschools.com.
Excited for volleyball and a lot of our teams. There's JV and varsity. And then one thing Harrison's done in the past for volleyball for over a decade now is they've offered Wednesday night freshman meets. And all of the freshman teams from around the community play freshman volleyball at Harrison. And it's been really neat for developmental of our volleyball players. And it's also been nice to see all of our area volleyball programs with our student athletes that are younger, our future stars, right? They're on a Wednesday night in a lot of teams.
Okay. So, I mean, really, when you go through that list that you just did and talk about the teams, Andy, certainly just a lot of excitement going on in all of our schools. And as you said at the beginning, really, as these teams go, lots of competition, lots of time spent preparing to be these top caliber athletes, it really just translates into just excitement and that whole school culture.
Yeah, I think besides the athletes on the field, if you just go to a typical football game, the band and the role that a band can play in the community in an event of a football game, the cheerleaders, the dance team, and then that of just the students in your classroom, your classmates just supporting you, whether it's a husky paw or a bear paw or a bulldog, something on your cheek, just
Well, we've got cheerleaders,
pride.
and dance teams, and all of those are athletes, and they're all working incredibly hard to create that atmosphere.
Yeah, and I just think people want to see people having fun and in a safe place. And
Right. That's what high school's all about.
I think this fall can be a memorable fall with the right attitude and the right behavior from a lot of people. It can be a great fall.
Okay. Well, Dr. Owen, you're the athletic director for the district. You also do talent development with our new teachers. Exciting work going on in that area, too. We appreciate you coming in. And what you and I are going to talk about then as well, away from this podcast, is we're going to identify some athletes. We're going to bring them in and talk to them in some podcasts coming up because we want to feature these high school athletes and let people hear from them.
Absolutely. There's no better way to promote EVSC athletics and our students than just hearing it straight from our students. So I welcome them to coming on and just adding to the experience of EVSC.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach Owen. Appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate you. Thank you.